Hi friends, it's me, Hussein Nova, back with the 2025 recap because we're apparently still stuck in 2025 even though it's been 3 months in. And I thought it was perfect timing to do this because the Oscars happened. So this time we're going to recap all the films I watched in 2025, and I'll give you all my thoughts on each of them. Of course, there are going to be spoilers in this video, so go watch all of these movies and definitely watch like the prequels to all of them before you watch any of these movies in case they are sequels because they do have a lot of plot points. Anyways, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, first we got Avatar Fire and Ash. And to be honest, I wasn't really too hyped for this movie just because, I also wasn't a fan of Way of Water. But yeah, let's get to the positive stuff first. Like, that's how we're gonna do this. So, what I liked about this movie was the family dynamics. I found it very interesting that they're all grieving the death of the older son and how it affects each of them. And I also like Spider, surprisingly, because I really hated Spider in Way of Water, but in this movie, the way they handled like how to deal with him, like whether to keep him like with the family or to kill him off. I think that was very interesting. Like one of the best scenes was when Jake was he actually wanted to kill Spider, and it was actually the wife's idea at first, but then she has second thoughts about it, and then they ended up not killing him because it was just too hard. I think that was a great scene, a very emotional scene. However, I can't really say much else about like the positive side of this movie because there are a lot of negatives, unfortunately. I think this movie is just way too long of a movie. Like, there were just way too many characters, in my opinion. Like, Way of Water did suffer the same issue as well. And Way of Water did like set up most of the plot points that will get resolved in this movie. But I don't know, I just find it very overwhelming that we had to switch from every character, like every character to another character. And with this movie, it also involves like newer characters as well, specifically the villains, which we'll get to that. But I don't know, I just wasn't impressed with a lot of it. Like, there was a lot of repeats for this movie too. Like, Spider does get kidnapped again, just like in Way of Water. And Kitty, basically, she has to, like, she does learn her true origins, but in Way of Water, I remember, like, she did kind of awaken her powers around the end, but with this movie, it seems like it was kind of retconned in a way. Now she has to like regain or like relearn her origins and stuff to like regain her powers. I don't know, it was a little confusing. And yeah, the villains. Um yeah, the new characters is the Fire Tribe, and I really like I hate them, honestly. Especially the leader, like she was just such a coward. I did not like her, and she wasn't a threat at all. And honestly, I wish the Fire Tribe like they were more involved. I want less of the the military stuff because we already seen that in the first two movies. And in Way of Water, like I was really tired of Colonel at that point, but surprisingly this movie made a worse villain that Colonel was actually like he actually ended up being a better villain than whatever the hell the fire tribe was. Yeah, they were just overshadowed completely by the military again, and that really sucked in my opinion. Same goes for the visuals, unfortunately. Like with the title like Fire and Ash, I expected like a lot more fire. But here we are again with the water. Like too much water. 7.7 out of 10. Too much water. And yeah, like we already seen most of the visuals from the first two movies, so I don't think that this movie really innovated much on the visual side of things. So yeah, that's most of my thoughts on this movie. I think I would say it's like around a 6 out of 10 just because I really did enjoy the family dynamics, but that's really about it. I wasn't too fond of anything else, to be honest. Okay, so next we got Captain America Brave New World. Yeah, unfortunately, this list isn't going to be good. Honestly, like, who thought it was a good idea to try to fix the Incredible Hulk? Like, the Incredible Hulk was so bad that this movie basically tried fixing it, but it's like you just can't fix a bad movie like that. I don't know, like there's like this whole conspiracy with the leader or whatever, and it just doesn't work. This movie doesn't amount to anything. Like there wasn't a climax at all. There wasn't I mean there was like kind of a character arc for Sam Wilson and for Red Hulk, but ugh. This movie was so bad. Like it's so bad that like the climax was this fight between Red Hulk and Captain America, Sam Wilson, and it was just bad. It was bad. Like it wasn't exciting at all, and it just ended anticlimactically. Like I cannot say anything. Like I don't know if like at the very least, I guess there was like a theme for this movie. So like that does put it slightly better than The Incredible Hulk. But still, I think that trying to fix a bad movie like The Incredible Hulk is such a huge mistake. I think that like Disney should have just moved on. They should have just moved on. Like let's pretend the Incredible Hulk didn't happen. Cause it didn't happen. And let's move on. Next we got Elio. Ugh. Girl, did I review this? Like I reviewed this movie. Nobody remembers this movie. Like let's be real. No one remembers this movie. And somehow Disney snuck it in the Oscars for best animated movies. Yeah, I don't know. I I remember giving this a 6, and I think I do still like the family themes because I'm a sucker for family themes. And I think I still connected with the theme of like just being who you are and, loving your family, even though like they don't understand you sometimes. But still, I think that like I don't know, this movie it's so generic. It's very generic for Pixar. It was so generic for Pixar that I didn't even know that they announced Hoppers, surprisingly. Like, I never heard of Hoppers at all, and I definitely want to give Hoppers a chance. Maybe on streaming. I don't know if I want to go out and see that on the theaters, but I definitely watched Elio at the theaters for some reason. I was one of the few people that watched it. And yeah, I don't know. I think it was also around a 6 out of 10 if I remember. Okay, so next we got Fantastic Four, The First Steps. Finally, a good movie. I love this movie a lot. I actually do love this movie a lot. Even though, like, funny story, the theaters we went to, it was very musty. And the screen was small. So, like, that's probably the only thing that I hated, like, was the theater experience. But overall, I did enjoy Fantastic Four as a movie. Like, Fantastic Four, all the previous movies sucked. Like the ones under Fox, they all sucked. So it's just very refreshing to get like a good Fantastic Four movie. I love the theme of this movie. I really love the conflict and theme of sacrifice and this whole ethical dilemma of like, is one life worth more than the entire planet? And like sacrificing your own child to save the world. I found it very interesting. And for a moment, the public turned on the Fantastic Four just because, like, they want to live and like they think the Fantastic Four are being selfish for not giving up their own child. And some of them were even like, give the baby up to Galactus. And yeah, I loved the fact that the way Sue Storm addresses the public. She's like, I'm not choosing my child over the world. I'm gonna fight to protect both. And I love that a lot. That's such a powerful speech that she gave. And Silver Surfer was also an interesting character. The fact that she willingly sacrificed herself to protect the planet, like that really added a lot to the theme and the entire conflict. That when Human Torch approached her, he was going to willingly sacrifice himself if he could just to protect the planet. Overall, I enjoyed this movie. It had a perfect balance of emotion and comedy. I'm definitely feeling like a 9 out of 10 for this movie. Like, maybe a few of the characters were nerfed, but with the MCU, like, they really love to nerf a lot of like, a lot of the powerful characters. They just love to nerf them just for bigger threats to come. But yeah, I still overall enjoyed this film. So next we got K-pop Demon Hunters. So with this film, like, I had like Netflix for 1 month just to give it a chance, and I found out that Netflix wasn't really the best streaming subscription. Like, the movies on there weren't really like my taste, I guess. But I just decided to watch this anyways because like it was one of the most talked films of 2025, and it won the Best Animated Oscar award as well. And I think that it was probably the most well deserved to win that award. So when I first saw this film, I was kind of blown away, like from the start all the way to like near the end. I think the ending kind of ruined this film. but we're gonna talk about that in a bit. So, what I loved about this film was the theme, like the theme of hiding a part of yourself just because you're afraid of judgment. And the main character, she really struggles with this, that she's hiding her identity. And I think this film could be enjoyed by everyone, but this feels like a queer story. Like, this definitely feels like a queer story. Someone being closeted, and then they can't hide it anymore, and then they finally show it, like, show themselves. And yeah, I really respect that about this film. And I definitely love the song Golden again. Like, there's just queer vibes all around that song. Um, so yeah, about the ending, why it ruined it, in my opinion, I think it was just really rushed. Like, they defeated the villain who was like hyped up this whole movie. They defeated him in like a musical number. Like, it was just so bad. Like, I don't know. I really found the themes to be so mature and so dark, but then the ending, it just, like, it was disappointing. I still think the movie is good, but I don't know, that ending always rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I definitely like the visuals as well. It's very unique, very anime-like as well. And like, Disney, they would never make anything like this. So it's nice to see that this movie won the best animated film. Shout out to the brownies out there because we know this movie. It kind of looks familiar, doesn't it? Like, not saying that they copied Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks, but I don't know. It just feels very familiar. So next we got Ne-Zha 2. So this one is definitely one of my favorite films of 2025. It's the highest grossing animated film of all time currently. And of course, it is a Chinese film, so it's totally different from what we get here in the West. And I appreciate that a lot. I think this movie deserves everything. I love the visuals. The visuals were great. Very like anime, Dragon Ball Z style type of action. And like, especially with the final fight, very epic. And the story was also really good. I love the twist that the bad guys, the demons, were actually the good guys all along, and the angels were actually shady, and they were the villains the entire time. And I love that the movie sets that up, that the bad guys were actually a lot more sympathetic than we thought. And it really strengthened the first movie because Ne-Zha himself is a demon child, so like, the fact that he's actually good as well, I think this really ties into the Taoism themes, like, of yin and yang. And I really found that interesting, that this whole story plays on that the ones that appear to be good can actually be evil, and the ones that appear to be evil can actually be good. And yeah, this movie definitely strikes a balance between comedy and emotion as well. There was a lot of emotional scenes, especially towards the end with Ne-Zha's mother dying, and also like very dark, the fact that most of the characters in the first one die as well. I definitely enjoyed this movie overall. Definitely my favorite. 10 out of 10 for sure. So next we got Predator Badlands. So this one, like, I didn't plan to actually see this one until my dad made us watch it at the theaters. Like, we went out together to watch it. And I was pleasantly surprised because I don't remember the Predator series being like this at all. I think the Predator series was more horror, where the predators are just monsters and, you know, the humans were the main characters. But in this movie, the predator was actually the main character, and I really enjoyed his story. I am a sucker for family themes again, and I really enjoyed it that, like, he was kicked out by his father just because he was, like, weaker than the rest, and he watched his brother get killed by his father, and then he goes to the planet to kill that big monster that's unkillable, basically. And, and, like, on the journey, he meets, like, new friends. And I really enjoy, like, movies about self-discovery and, family and stuff like that. Like, whenever I write, I usually go for these topics the most. And yeah, that's why I actually just really enjoyed this movie. Like, yeah, it is, like, a little bit cheesy towards the end, but I think I loved it overall. I love the theme that your true family is actually the people you meet along the way, and who, like, the people who accept you for who you are. And I also love the theme uh that your, like, the worldview you grew up with was actually wrong, and that the world, like, was completely different than what you thought. So yeah, I overall really enjoyed this movie. Definitely an 8 out of 10. Great. Hi again. We totally, like, didn't change our outfit, got a new haircut, or shave or anything at all. Anyways, let's continue the video. So next we got Sinners. Sinners was definitely a surprise for me because, like, it's completely out of my taste. I usually just watch animation and superhero movies, which, like, most of this list is basically that. But with Sinners, like, it was one of the recommendations I got for class, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it a lot. I saw the genre and it was horror, and that kind of scared me because, believe it or not, I don't actually watch horror movies. Like, I really don't like jump scares too much. But with Sinners, I think, like, there was only one jump scare, so it was completely fine. And I just found all the characters really interesting. Like, they all have really tragic stories. And, I really felt bad for them, like, all of them, when the vampire came and basically ruined all of their lives, basically killed a lot of them and turned some of them into vampires. And yeah, I just say the acting is really phenomenal as well. Michael B. Jordan definitely deserves that Oscar because the way he was able to portray, like, two different characters is really talented. Yeah, I overall enjoyed Sinners. I love the themes as well, like a lot of, like, African American culture in this movie. And, we're here for, like, diversity. Like, we're so here for diversity. So yeah, definitely, like, maybe the best film of the year. Like, it was like a toss up between this or Ne-Zha 2 as my favorite, but I think this one definitely my favorite live action film. Like I never saw one battle after another though, so you know I might give it a chance and maybe update this list. I don't know. I want to move on to 2026 soon. So, anyways, that's my thoughts on Sinners. 10 out of 10. So, next is Superman, and this was one I think I was going to like address because I think my original review, like I think I was kind of cooking, but also I think I overcooked a little bit because like I don't know, I was just a little harsh on this movie and after giving it like more thought, I could see where like James Gunn was actually going with this Superman because like this Superman he's more human. He's not the all-powerful god like Zack Snyder was going for. And this Superman he actually has more emotion and he's actually able to show more weakness. And I think that that's actually a good thing, you know. It's a good way to separate yourself from like the previous the DCEU, and, you know, create a different Superman with a different personality. And I think that's something that I completely overlooked. Like this Superman, he like when he cries for that citizen who gets shot, like I think it adds a lot of emotion for him. And like when he cares a lot about his dog and even his relationship with Lois and his insecurity about the media. I think a lot of that is really interesting. But I think I still stand with the fact that there is too many side plots going on. I still don't like that country plot, like the country invading the other country plot. I think that was a bit fillery. And it was just basically there to give the other justice gang, like just to give them something to do, but like I don't know, like they kind of just one shot they basically one shot the entire army by themselves. So like it was kind of a waste. And I still don't like understand like likes his girl betraying him. Like that was weird. And then like there we have like a whole subplot of her falling in love with another guy and then I don't know. And then like I still think that exposing likes is a little bit useless in this film too because the film's message is that your actions speak louder than your words. So yeah, I think that this movie did slightly grow on me, but I still think it's like a 6 out of 10, honestly. Like like it's good for Superman to have emotion, but I think that if this movie was a lot more focused, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. And definitely looking forward to Supergirl as well. Next we got Thunderbolts, definitely one of my favorites, and one that really blew me away too, because I completely skipped this film and watched it on streaming after, and I was just so blown away how mature this movie was. Like, the way it dives into mental health and like depression and you know darkness, like I really enjoyed it how like each character, like they're all broken and they don't want to like express themselves, so they all turn to like a life of crime, but then but then like they get together and they start opening up about their insecurities, and they basically create like a family, and it was just beautiful to watch. I love each character. Like they all are interesting because they were, previous villains from other TV shows and movies. But yeah, I definitely like Sentry a lot too, especially because of the Void persona. Like, I really enjoyed the Void, and like, the fighting, like at the end where friendship saves the day. Like, yeah, like once again, My Little Pony fans, friendship is magic. But with this movie, like it actually worked because like none of them were able to defeat the Sentry because the Sentry was like he was so OP. So I think like the only way that they could defeat the Void was to like embrace Bob and find that friendship and love that he never had. And I think that's such a powerful message that, like a bunch of misfits, a bunch of depressed people could come together and create a family. It's such a beautiful movie. I think this was definitely one of my favorites of the year. I think it's a 10 out of 10. Definitely one of the best Marvel movies I've seen too. Like, I know it's a hot take, but yeah, this was a great movie. I enjoyed it overall. 10 out of 10. Next, we got Wicked for Good. So, this movie, like, it was never gonna be better than the first, because like what they were based on, what the Wicked movies were based on is on the musicals, and the second one, like you're kind of required to watch The Wizard of Oz to understand what's going on. And I think like with Wicked for Good, the pacing is kind of all over the place. Like especially when it gets to the Wizard of Oz parts, it just like expects you to understand like what's happening, and it kind of just like skips all over it. And I don't think that like that's really a good thing for this movie. Like I think that we kind of need more of like the first movie, which was perfectly paced, and the story was definitely a lot more dynamic in the first movie with like freeing the animals and how Alphaba becomes the Wicked Witch. But the second movie is kind of just really fast, but like also really slow because I remember like being in the theater and like just kind of being bored with like a lot of the songs and a lot of the pacing, a lot of the love triangle stories. But yeah, I think it's still good. Like it still has good like music. It still is decent. Like it has good acting from Ariana and Cynthia. So I think it's like a 6 out of 10. Like I think I would still like watch this, Like it's not bad, but the first one was always going to be better. Last but not least, we got Zootopia 2. So, unfortunately, we're gonna end on a bit of a sour note because I didn't really like this movie too much. So, we could just like start with the positives, I guess, because I think we have a lot more negatives than positives. So I definitely liked the lore with Zootopia, the fact that it was founded by reptiles. I think that's a very interesting concept because like we'd never seen reptiles before. So like we're getting more like world building, and I think that's good for this series. And then I also really like Nick and Judy. Like they really felt like a couple in this movie. Like I'm definitely shipping them. And I guess like some of the comedy was good, and like I do like that they were on the run from the government as well. Like that was really interesting. But like everything else, ugh, the pacing was just way too fast. Like we're going from plot point to plot point, like way too quickly. Like 1 minute we were chasing Gary the snake, and then the next minute we are with him and the freaking coyote. I really hate the coyote. So I don't care what his name was. I despise the coyote. Like I despise him. Him and the Avatar Fire and Ash tribe, like they were not good. Anyways, the coyote, like, yeah, the reason I hate him because, like, Disney twist villain, like, we always had to have a Disney twist villain. Like, for some reason, Disney loves to do these Disney twist villains. You know, with Mayor Bellwether, I actually liked her as a twist villain because the first movie does a good job, like, setting up that, you know, she was actually the villain. Like, when they found out that sheep were kind of behind this whole operation, it was like kind of a given that she was behind it. And, you know, when she was talking to Judy, like, you could tell that she had some prejudice against the predators. But with the coyote here, like, his twist was just so out of nowhere, like, and like his motivations are so cringe. Like, he wants to make his family proud because, like, he's like the weak one or whatever. Like, ugh, it's so cringe. It's so cringe. I really despised him. And like everything else, I don't know, like I just didn't really find much enjoyment because of the fast pacing. I think this movie needed more time. Like it was such a short movie overall that like it felt like the writers were just rushing through things because they didn't have enough time to, you know, flesh everything out. And it's just so sad because the first Zootopia was a masterpiece. Like, I loved the first Zootopia. But this one, this one was just not it. Anyways, that was all the films I watched in 2025. I definitely want to hear some of your favorites from 2025, like anything that didn't make an appearance on this list. And I definitely want to hear like what you thought of any of these films on the list. Like, do you actually like the ones I didn't like, or do you actually hate the ones I liked? Comment below. And as always, peace out. Bye.